Hello and welcome to this video on living with difficult emotions. In this video, my colleague Zoe and I are going to talk to you about living with difficult emotions, thoughts and feelings, and we'll give you some techniques or exercises that you can practice at home that might be helpful for you. My name is Dr. Zoe Fisher and I'm a consultant clinical psychologist working in Swansea Bay Health Board, and I also work as an associate professor at Swansea University. My colleague Zoe is an assistant psychologist who also works in the community brain injury service with me in Swansea Bay Health Board, and she's also studying to do her PhD at Swansea University. So the first thing to say is that it's healthy and normal to experience a range of emotions. So all emotions, whether we think about them as good or bad or positive or negative, they all serve a critical and important function. Even though we may refer to many emotions as negative, in many situations they're actually really helpful and adaptive. So for example, when we feel sad, our energy levels drop and our metabolism slows down. Behaviourally, we might withdraw. But this helps us keep protected when we feel vulnerable. And research has shown that when people are in a sad mood, they can actually have better judgment, be more sensitive to others, as well as being more generous and empathetic to other people. When we experience stress and anxiety, for example, we often feel that in our bodies. It feels uncomfortable. And those sensations are referred to collectively as the fight or flight response, which you may have heard of. So the fight or flight response, it increases our breathing, it increases our heart rate. We might notice that we sweat more, that our pupils become dilated, and that we might feel butterflies in our stomachs. So these physiological responses, they're actually really adaptive. They're our body preparing us for the challenges ahead. It might actually be more helpful to think about the fight or flight response as a survival response. So for example, your heart speeds up to get more oxygenated blood to your muscles and to your brain, and this helps you prepare for action. You might notice the butterflies in your stomach, and this is a result of blood being diverted from your gut to your muscles, and this also helps us prepare for action. Our pupils get bigger so we can let more light into our eyes that can help us assess the situation better. So this fight or flight response, although it feels uncomfortable, is actually your body giving you the resources that you need to manage the situation. So when you experience that discomfort in certain situations, it can be really helpful to remind yourself that those feelings are actually your body helping you prepare for the challenges ahead, rather than thinking about them as feelings that might get in the way of you being able to deal with the challenges ahead. So again, anger, which we often think of as a negative emotion, can also be adaptive in certain situations. And when we experience anger, blood rushes to our hands to help us prepare for fight if our survival is attacked. Anger can motivate us towards action. And it's a vital component for change. So in many instances of social inequalities have been overcome by people becoming angry and fighting for positive change. So if we're able to tune into our own anger and our feelings are appropriate to the situation we're in, then we can harness that anger for greater good. So the experience of well-being actually comprises of a balance of emotional states. So it's healthy to experience a range of different emotions, and that includes sadness, anger, or worry. And these feelings typically can pass normally over time, and they change as the circumstances change. But after brain injury, many people we work with describe feeling really overwhelmed by difficult thoughts, feelings, and emotions, and there's a sense of disruption to the balance of healthy emotional states. So many people experience chronic stress, anxiety, depression, and anger difficulties. And finding a way to live with these strong and overwhelming emotions can be exceptionally challenging. Very often, our tendency is to try and avoid, get rid of, or ignore these emotions, but that strategy is rarely successful, and the effort to maintain that can be so all-consuming and exhausting. In fact, trying to get rid of distress actually usually increases it. We know that people that learn to accept these emotions, rather than judging them as good or bad or trying to avoid them, actually experience better well-being, and interestingly, they also experience less of the negative emotion. So in today's video, we're going to talk you through some exercises that you can practice at home to help you think about how better to manage and accept difficult emotions in order to live with them.